Your time is running out. I'm talking here and now. I'm talking here and now. It's not about what you've done, it's about.
This is the Kraft Fight Hunger Bowl podcast with Executive Director Gary Cavalli. My name is Doug Kelly. Gary, first of all, explain the choice of sweater here today in San Francisco.
Well, the dress code in San Francisco this week is definitely orange and black, as our friends, the San Francisco Giants, hosting Game 1 of the World Series tonight. Orange is also the color of fighting hunger. So, we've been wearing more orange around the office for the past 2-3 years since we've been involved with the Kraft Fight Hunger campaign. But today it's definitely the Giants.
Looking at the Pac-12, which will provide one of our teams to us, the race is starting to get very tight, very interesting, and there's still a lot of contenders out there.
Yeah, we've got 3 teams already eligible with six or more wins, both Oregon schools and SC, and then we have Stanford and UCLA and Arizona State knocking on the door. So this week, I believe UCLA and Arizona State play each other, so the winner of that game will give us a 4th bowl-eligible Pac-12 team. And if Stanford beats Washington State, that would give us 5. So that would be great to have 5 already locked up this early in the season.
You've been out looking at games on the weekends. What have you seen that's surprised you any?
Well, I'm really impressed with Arizona's offense. Rich Rodriguez, of course, is one of the great offensive minds in college football, and I think he's a little ahead of schedule. These aren't his players, and they're just doing a great job offensively. Their quarterback, Matt Scott, his accuracy and the way he throws the ball reminds me of the fellow who played at Stanford last year. He's probably not quite as good, but he's very, very good. And they'd be an excellent bowl team. They're exciting. They score a lot of points.
The last time we did this, when we talked about Navy being on the other side of the equation, things weren't looking so good for the midshipmen at 1 and 3, but subsequent weeks have improved that situation dramatically.
Well, Navy's won 3 straight, so we're breathing a little easier here in San Francisco, and I'm sleeping a little better at night. It's still early. They're 4 and 3. They have had a real resurgence behind the freshman quarterback, Keenan Reynolds, who hasn't yet had his 19th birthday. Hard to believe a guy that's 18 years old can be playing, the way he's playing. But he came off the bench against Air Force, led them to victory in the 4th quarter, had a great game at Central Michigan, and then had a great game again this week as they came from behind, 9 points behind in the 4th quarter to beat Indiana. But he's playing like a poised veteran. I really like what I'm seeing. They got a tough game this week at East Carolina. But then after that, they have 3 straight that look pretty winnable. So we're feeling pretty optimistic, and we're already starting to get calls from Navy people wanting to buy tickets. That's always a good sign.
No question. Gary, last week the BCS ratings came out, and Oregon, which continues to beat people by double-digit significant margins, fell all the way to 4th. What's your reaction to that?
Well, I'm not a big fan of the computers. I never have been. And I think one of the great things about the new system that'll take place in a couple of years, that'll be implemented in a couple of years, it'll be a committee of 15 or 20 guys with no hardware involved. And I think that's going to be a good thing for college football. But Oregon's been beating up on people in the Pac-12, and they've been scoring so many points and getting so far ahead, that they're taking their starters out at halftime, and then the other team scores a couple touchdowns and the score looks closer than it was. So I don't think their defense is getting the respect it deserves. They're a very good defensive team. But I think it'll all work out, Doug, because they've got several highly ranked teams coming up.
Gary, let's talk a little bit about some of the events that will surround this year's Kraft Fight Hunger Bowl game. That's always a big part of the tradition for the players and the coaches and the staff that comes out here, many of whom are experiencing the greatest city in the world, San Francisco, for the very first time.
Yeah, I think there was another ranking that just came out this week. We've been talking about BCS rankings, but they always rank cities, and what's the most popular city in the world, what's the best tourist destination, and I guess San Francisco was selected yet again. Player experience, the team experience is and has been and always will be a big focus, for our game. And we're blessed to have a great host committee that takes care of the people, a great staff, but the city certainly helps. When we had Florida State here, they had 99 players, and only one of them had ever been to California before. So spending a week in San Francisco was quite a treat. But we take them to Alcatraz, which Bobby Bowden said was the best trip he'd ever been on as part of a bowl visit. We have a rally in Union Square. We take them, one team, to a restaurant called Players where they do arcade games, another place called Lucky Strike where they go bowling. I think we have darn near 20 events now during the week. So it's a great experience for everybody, and I think it's one of the things that really distinguishes our bowl. But I think probably the highlight of the week for some of the players is the visits to St. Anthony and Glide, where they actually take part in feeding some of the hungry families here in San Francisco.
So until next time, this has been the Kraft Fight Hunger Bowl podcast, and we will see you soon.
Thank you.